Welcome back for part 2 of my special unboxing of a mystery box of train card. It was total of 3 different stuff. Part 1, I looked at some Digimon and Harry Potter cards, and part 2 is, of course, focused on strictly Pokemon. So, total, let's see how many things we have. And they wrapped it up interesting enough. We have, looks like so far, 3 small decks, 4 small decks, and 5 small decks. So, with that said, let us see what we have here. Because I have no clue at all what kind of Pokemon cards there are. And first, I'll quickly, because I just noticed, this is what the back of a Japanese copy looks like versus the American version. Very different. And it is a Japanese version of, well, Umbreon. And this, I believe, was from like the mid-2000s, if I remember. I don't know, because I have not played or really collected Pokemon in years. Most people do videos on like these newer Pokemon card stuff, but I'm more interested in, if I'm going to do some, I prefer looking at stuff at least I know a little bit more of from more when I was younger. But interesting first card. So, let's see what else we got here. Right off the bat, holograph kind of surprise. And this is from the Fossil series, which I believe was the third Pokemon series from the, like, around 99, 2000 time frame. Yet 99, right there at the bottom, copyrights. So that's kind of cool. And also from older, this is from, if I remember correctly, the series Jungle series, which I believe was the second Pokemon series. I didn't really pay much attention past like the first like 3 or 4 series. Dodrio, a classic. Persian. An Electro. Except this one looks like it's in Spanish. So that's interesting. So that includes some other languages. So, yeah, you can freeze and read it if you speak or can read Spanish. Wigglytuff. Also, Spanish, I believe. This one too. Interesting. Magmar. Yeah, it looks like a mixture of different languages. That's interesting. Vulpix. Rapidash. Nidoran. Ikens. Well, definitely a lot of classics that at least I remember. Butterfree. Execute. Kind of weird how, like, I always thought Oddish was kind of odd because it looks like early CGI, rather than using a normal traditional, like, art style, like a lot of the Pokemon cards of the late 90s. Looks like another Execute. I expect to see at least a couple of duplicates. Bulbasaur. Also another, like, early CGI. Well, definitely a lot of green type, that's for sure. Cubone. Dragonite. Another Persian. Pharaoh. Okay, have no clue what that says. Mirror some of these old training cards. Always an interesting thing to play back in the day. I remember used to go back when Toys R Us was around, back in like 98, 99, went to Toys R Us to play in the local Pokemon tournaments. That was definitely an interesting time. The fact I can remember very well, actually, the early days of Pokemon back when it was first becoming popular. And it was definitely an interesting thing to experience Pokemon Mania as it was happening. Because just about a year prior to Pokemon Mania was another Mania actually craze called Beanie Babies. Was huge in like 97, 98 time frame. Classic Pikachu. One of my all-time favorites, Kadabra. Another Oddish. I guess whoever collected these had a thing for grass type. Definitely interesting. Next up we have, let's see, surprisingly most of that was older, and it looks like have some newer stuff now with this one, with Psyduck. Yep, definitely some newer stuff. Dang, nice. Another holograph. Dark Espeon. Okay, that's kind of cool. I actually really dig the art. I like the holograph effect and stuff with this artwork. Cloyster. Tentacruel. I remember the controversy that reruns and stuff of that one episode with Tentacruel and Tentacool in the US got censored because it showed blowing up buildings and stuff. And right after September 11th, they basically deleted, would not allow reruns of that specific episode from the US. Later on, I think they re-released it with certain scenes cut out of the episode. But I'd say I know of at least 2 or 3 episodes that got cut out, like Jinx got censored. This is not the original version of Jinx, though there, to be fair, was a good reason as to why they censored Jinx from the original version. Now, this is definitely something a bit newer. Don't actually mind that redone art style of Ghastly. Sadly, I'm trying to do this on slanted. And we have mostly, it looks like a bunch of energy cards. But definitely, Pokemon was really interesting experiencing back in the late 90s when it was first coming on the scene, becoming a thing. I mean, if you told me that like 20 years later that Pokemon would still be huge as a train card game would once again really become big, and the games would become insanely overpriced from what they were back then. And trust me, a lot of Pokemon cards were expensive back in those days. When I was about 16, at the time before the old Pokemon cards basically died out in popularity, I used to actually, at the flea market, deal in Pokemon cards. And mind you, this was when I was 16 in high school. And I remember I was making, on average, probably about $400 to $500 a weekend off of just dealing in Pokemon cards at a flea market, which is kind of bonkers when you think about it. Yeah, looks like most of the rest. Okay, it looks like the last, like, two. Nice. So, I found a couple of good ones, and some I'm not sure. I don't know the value of, like, the Spanish and stuff language, if there's any difference in value. Ooh, a Kangaskhan, though. Even though this is holograph and stuff in an actual original, it's not worth much because it's, for a holograph, it's actually pretty common, unfortunately. Huh. A Jirachi. I actually never collected because Jirachi was a lot later on. Like mid 2000s, I believe, was when Jirachi became a thing. Ooh, Dark Crobat. Nice. But all in all, like, I will admit, though I'm not as big a Pokemon fan as I once was back years ago, I definitely have a lot of stories and a lot of definitely things I could talk about. And if you're anybody out there watching this video is all interested, in the future let me know if you'd like me to do any like reviews or just in general like go down memory lane and mention like some stories that I remember back from when Pokemon was actually huge prior. Like back when it was big before. I mean, for instance, Charizard was going for probably $50 to $60 on average. And then the first edition Charizards were going for about $350 at the time. Keep in mind, in those days, back in like 99, $350 was considered insane for a train card. Because keep in mind, you could get like a Nintendo 64 and a PS1 for the price of one card. To put in the comparison, if not get more actually, because at the time, a PS1 and N64 were like, I think, were like $150 a piece, like $149 or like $129, I forget. Still, it was a great time to be a Pokemon fan. You had, like, of course, Pokemon Red and Blue had already been out for about 2 years or so. Ooh, nice. Houndoom. Definitely like the art. Nidoqueen. But, Executor. But I will say, classic Meowth. When it comes down to it, Pokemon is definitely going to be, Bayleef. It's definitely going to always be a thing, I think, that will definitely have a long-term nostalgia factor. The fact it's the most valuable franchise of all time, and actual worth, how much profit it has made, it's mind-boggling to think how big Pokemon has become. But in like 99-2000 time frame was a good time. I was playing Pokemon Yellow, which is my all-time favorite personal Pokemon game. But other than that, I played, on occasion, Pokemon Snap back in the day when I used to actually have the game. Nice Scyther. Loved playing Pokemon Yellow on the Game Boy Color. Also loved playing Pokemon Stadium. I really wish I still had like a super, was it a Super Game Boy, which would allow me to play Pokemon Yellow and stuff on my Super Nintendo, which was pretty sweet. Don't care as much for the art of that Pikachu. And some not so old Pokemon cards. What year? Mid-2000s. 2004 copyright. So it's actually older than I thought. But keep in mind, around the mid-2000s, nice, I had kind of died out of Pokemon by like the mid to late 2000s, early 2010s. I was starting to get back in Pokemon. I started collecting some of the Pokemon games I never really played prior. Games like Pokemon Fire Red, as well as Pokemon Coliseum, XD. Also, Pokemon Emerald, which I still have most of those, and I'm glad I picked up a lot of that stuff like the early 2010s before it started going retro and started skyrocketing in price. And thanks to the whole pandemic situation of COVID, ooh, nice, a Ho-Oh, and it's an e-reader card. Cool. Yeah, back in the day, with like Game Boy Advance and stuff, there was a special e-reader thing, like device you plugged in, and you'd swipe like multiple cards and stuff, and it would bring up a game you could play, which was really cool, and it's kind of interesting. I actually included an e-reader card in this. Unfortunately, I was never lucky enough to actually have an e-reader. Back in the day, I did have, though, a Game Boy camera, which is unique. Unknown, which were always unusual Pokemon. And if I remember correctly, unknown Pokemon were actually a key role in the third theatrical Pokemon film, which also had one of my personal favorites, Entei, one of the three, of course, mystical wolves. My personal favorite, though, will always be Suicune. Pokeball. And draw 2 cards. Well, at least these are in English. I mean, occasionally here and there, I have really tried to put in some effort trying to learn basic German language, and I want to eventually, once I get basic German down, I want to get basic Japanese language down. Before all is said and done in life, I want to know at least, I would like to be able to know the basics of at least 4 other languages outside English. The top 2 for me, though, I'm most interested in is Japanese and German. Mainly because half my family is German. And I have a great respect for Japanese culture. And this is the last bit of Pokemon cards. Pretty cool. If anybody knows anything about if any of these are even worth anything, give me a heads up, since I don't know much about Pokemon card prices. The only card games I've even tried to keep up with values on is mostly Magic. It's the only card game I've really stuck with throughout the years. Ooh, Haunter. And they're Japanese. Ooh. Entei. Another unknown. Another interesting art style Gastly. And again, another unknown. And another. I would say, and another. Outside of Pokemon, when it comes to art design and stuff, I'd say I really love the art of Magic for the variety of art styles, but I absolutely love, like, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! I have always really enjoyed the art of. Professor Elm. Energy Arc. Huh. Don't know much about that. That's an unusual design executor. Ooh, I actually dig that Espeon. I'll get ready to cut this video though. And I hope everyone, and last but not least, is Slowbro. Hopefully you enjoyed this like little mystery unboxing thing for Pokemon cards. But I'll see y'all next time, and stay safe. See you again, same YouTube time, same YouTube channel. And quickly say, it's definitely my favorite of the art designs. But I'll see you soon enough.